Of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, 6 were made of stone and bronze. You could touch them, measure them, prove they existed. The 7th was different. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon were said to rise from the desert like a living mountain, terraces stacked high with trees, flowers, and flowing water, an impossible green miracle in the heart of the ancient world. There's just one problem. No one has ever found them. And what if the reason is simple? What if they were never in Babylon at all? This is Still Unexplained, brief explorations of unsolved mysteries. My name is Mark. For more than 2,000 years, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon have existed almost entirely in words. Greek historians described them in awe. Poets celebrated them. They became synonymous with ancient wonder. But unlike the pyramids or the Colossus of Rhodes, no physical trace of the gardens have ever been uncovered in Babylon. No foundations, no irrigation system, no contemporary Babylonian records describing their construction. That absence is not just puzzling, it's suspicious. The image most of us carry, vines dangling from balconies, is probably wrong. Ancient writers describe something far more engineered. A series of stone terraces built atop vaulted arches, each level packed with soil deep enough to support full-grown trees. Water lifted continuously from a river using mechanical devices. The Greek geographer Strabo, writing centuries later, described water being raised by engines operated constantly by workers. This was not decoration. It was infrastructure. And here's the critical detail. Babylonians primarily built with mud brick. Stone construction was rare. Assyrians built with stone constantly. The traditional story credits King Nebuchadnezzar with building the gardens around 600 BCE as a gift for his wife Umaytis, who supposedly missed the green mountains of her homeland in Media. It's a beautiful story. But Nebuchadnezzar left behind thousands of inscriptions bragging about his achievements. Walls, temples, canals, palaces. He documented everything. He never mentioned the Hanging Gardens. For a king known for self-promotion, that silence is deafening. To the north of Babylon stood Nineveh, the capital of the Assyrian Empire. Unlike Babylon, Nineveh was obsessed with water management, and its king obsessed with building. King Sennacherib ruled Assyria from 705 to 681 BCE and referred to Nineveh as his palace without rival. He transformed a city with massive stone architecture, imported trees from conquered lands, and constructed one of the most advanced irrigation systems in the ancient world, including something extraordinary, an aqueduct. Near Nineveh stands the Jurwan Aqueduct, and it's one of the oldest known aqueducts in human history. Built of stone and inscribed with Sennacherib's own words, it describes water being carried across valleys and elevated terrain to supply the city. This matters because Babylon has no equivalent structure from this period. If you wanted to sustain elevated gardens year-round in a dry climate, you would need something exactly like this. Nineveh had it. Babylon did not. Oxford Assyriologist Stephanie Dalley proposed a radical idea that has gained serious academic traction. The Hanging Gardens were real. They were just misattributed. Dalley argues that the Greek historians may have used Babylon as shorthand for Mesopotamian greatness, confusing the actual location over time. She points to the Assyrian reliefs showing tiered gardens, flowing water, and elevated trees that closely match ancient descriptions. In her view, the gardens were not Babylonian. They were Assyrian, and they were built by Sennacherib. There's another layer to this mystery. Sennacherib destroyed Babylon in 689 BCE. He razed it. Later generations rebuilt the city and possibly rewrote its story. Assyria eventually collapsed. Babylon endured in memory, and history often favors the version told by those who remain. It's possible the gardens were remembered, but relocated in the retelling. Some ancient writers attributed the gardens to Queen Semiramis, a semi-legendary Assyrian ruler also known historically as Semiramis. Her story blends myth and history, but she was associated with major construction projects and lush urban spaces. If the gardens originated in Assyria, Semiramis may represent an older memory layered into later accounts, a name preserved even as details shifted. Nineveh lies beneath modern Mosul. Decades of war and instability have made large-scale excavation nearly impossible. Sites have been damaged, reliefs destroyed, evidence lost. Ironically, the strongest candidate for the garden's location may never be fully explored, not because it wasn't real, but because history has been unkind to the ground that holds it. The Hanging Gardens may not be a myth. They may be the victim of mislabeling, empire, and time. A wonder built in Assyria, remembered by Greece, assigned to Babylon. A reminder that even humanity's greatest achievements can be displaced, not by doubt, but by distance. The gardens may never be found where they were told to look, but that doesn't mean they never existed. This has been Still Unexplained. Thank you for listening.